show where we talk about things that you care about, and we care to know these things. Together we talk about them.
K-pop and basically real talk, and we're not gonna, sugarcoat anything, because a lot of the times, K-pop viewers or listeners and fans, they really sugarcoat it a lot. We're gonna give our viewers the real talk today, the real scoop. Okay, so real talk.
Oh, real talk.
Something that I need to get off my chest is the fact that K-pop has the weirdest, dumbest, most retarded names, and sometimes I'm ashamed to be Korean because of it.
Okay, so what's a name that really bothers you?
Okay, so growing up, when I went to school, I grew up in Colorado, so a lot of my peers... So when I grew up in Colorado, I was trying to get my white friends into K-pop, but I really couldn't with names like FINKL, H-O-T, or God. And a lot of my white peers, my American peers, my non-Korean peers would basically make fun of me. They'd be like, what is FINKL? What does that mean? And I'm like, proudly, mind you, it means find, killing, liberty.
Duh!
I mean,
and they just didn't get it.
And they actually ran away from me. They're like, oh my gosh, the next day the principal came up to me. He was like, what is this find, killing, liberty that you're talking about?
They probably thought you were wrong.
Yeah, they thought I was communistic. And I was like, my uncle... Yeah, communist.
Is that a word?
I don't know, but I just made it up.
Okay.
What names do you kind of feel are awkward and kind of weird?
Well, everyone knows that I'm the hottest fan, 2 a.m. to 2 p.m. But when you really think of it, I mean, this makes sense. Because the hottest time of day is actually 3 p.m. So it doesn't really make sense. I don't really get why they did that. It's not really funny. I'm not really laughing. I don't really get it.
Yeah, and also it's 2 p.m. and then 2 a.m. and it's like 12 hours apart.
Yeah, and it's not even 24 hours. So hello, that doesn't equal days. I don't really get it. It's really confusing. Okay, the next thing that we're talking about is N-Black, which means like many boys live in absolute quality.
Which doesn't make sense at all, and obviously we can see how Rain did really well in his English studies here in America.
With chicken breasts and vegetables, it was horrible,
So let's talk about Ukiss, and Ukiss obviously stands for United Koreans in Sexy Syndromes.
I actually like that.
Right? So that's actually a very unique name that they came from.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that Ukiss should kind of come together with SM, and they can kind of make You Kiss Me Where Sunny from Seoulcial Don't Shiny.
It was like you were thinking the same thing.
I know, it's like ESPN or something.
Oh my god.
Okay. Let's talk about this group called SS501. I don't even get it, and for Koreans it's like the most horrible name ever because they can't even pronounce it, and it's so long. So in show programs like Inkiga or something, the host is struggling over his words, and he's like, or they're both like double S501, or sometimes they try to make it American, so it's double S501.
That's so long.
So long.
If I had a name, it would be like ED samsa 오육칠 팔구십, just so I can beat them.
Mine would probably just be so fast you couldn't even hear it.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
I didn't even hear that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Amazing.
Let's try it again.
Oh my god, I didn't hear it again.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Let's try it one more time.
Okay. Didn't know.
No. Okay, let me try and do it in an announcing voice.
Okay.
Now introducing.
Amazing. I mean, stunning.
Yeah. You know some things that are really awkward?
Like what?
Especially in New York, you run into awkward situations every single day.
Right.
Like the simplest things in life, when you're waving at a friend and that friend is across the street, let's say Lexington Avenue. So you're waving to them across the street, you're like, oh my gosh, John. And then John comes towards you and it's actually, he was waving to someone behind you. And so you kind of act like, or you kind of feel like a fool, right?
Yeah.
You're waving. So this is kind of how I remedy that situation.
Okay.
So when you're waving at someone and they're actually waving to someone behind you, which is really awkward, you just keep waving. And don't stop waving. So you're just like, and then you're like, oh, they're not waving at me.
That's
And you pretend you're waving at someone behind you.
right.
And then that person will probably wave.
That's an awesome thing.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what's awkward? Well, you're not a female, but sometimes I have tampons in my bag.
Okay.
Tampons are used for when girls have menstrual cycles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's this one time where I was taking my cell phone out, but then my tampon fell out, and then it fell in front of two guys, and we just all stood there looking at it because I didn't know what to do because I didn't want them to know that I was actually having a menstrual cycle. So they kind of were just like looking at it, but they didn't really know what it was, and so I went like this. That's awkward.
But the tampons, let's go back to the tampons.
Oh.
Were they the small tampons?
No,
or the
this was
tampons
like a
the big?
super plus tampon.
So super plus, like it's not the little things that are
No,
this
it was
big,
like
a
this
cigarette.
size. Yeah, it was like.
Because I was saying if you had the small ones, you can just be like, hey, want a cigarette?
I mean, for next
Or I
time.
guess if it's thicker, a cigar.
I should have said that. It was a cigar, but it was yellow.
Yeah, you can say it's candy flavored from Japan.
I should have just done that. That's
Do
actually
that
really
next
good.
time. Remedy the situation.
Yeah. What
So another awkward moment is when you're going down the streets, because we live in New York and there's
Yeah.
so many homeless people. And a lot of people ask for cash and whatnot. You know, a lot of people are just like, you know, I really need to buy myself a meal.
Right.
And so one day what was really awkward to me is when I was at McDonald's. And I was walking past McDonald's and there was this stranger, this homeless guy.
Right.
And he was like, oh sir, do you have any cash for me?
Uh-huh.
Any money to spare? And I was like, sorry sir, I'm actually paying off my college loans. I don't have it. Right then I trip, my wallet falls out, and then $400 bills pops out and he looks at it and I look at him and I'm like, awkward situation.
So how did you make yourself, how did you see yourself?
How did I remedy that
Right.
situation? There's no way to actually remedy a situation like that.
Uh-huh.
So you just grab your wallet, grab your cash, and you run as quickly as possible. So another awkward situation is when you're going up to your friend and you're trying to do a high five. You know,
I
a
know
lot
where
of
you're going with
times,
this, yeah.
you're just like, hey dude, high five, and then you miss.
Yeah.
And you're both like, oh,
Oh my
shoot.
god.
So how would you remedy that situation?
I think you should just go for the butt.
So
When you're at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey
this
dude.
way, and then butt.
Right.
Okay, so you know what else is awkward? Like one time I was at Borders bookstore and sometimes, okay, I have a gassy problem. Whatever, judge me. Hello.
Yeah, you're having some problems right now,
Yeah.
too.
Oh, you smell that? Oh.
It's not kimchi.
Oh, well, that's none of your business. Anyways, so I was sitting in Borders and I was like really gassy and I was like, all right, you know what? This one's not gonna be loud. It's gonna be a silent one. So I went for it and it totally made a sound.
Yeah.
And there was a guy sitting behind me. He totally looked up and I didn't know what to do. So what do you think in that situation? How would you remedy that?
Well, this often happens to me on a daily basis, so
Right.
I definitely know how to remedy the situation.
Okay.
So you know the sound, it's like, you just keep
Yeah.
doing that with your mouth. It's like, oh.
To make them think that it's coming out of your mouth and not
Yeah, and
your
you're like,
mouth.
mm-mm.
Oh, but what if it smells?
Well, when it smells,
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Oh, because last time what I did was that I actually had like a powdered donut.
Okay.
And you know they smell really good.
Yeah, they smell.
So when I farted and I knew that it smelled, I just went like this with the donut
You
over my,
smelled
so that it had that sweet smell. So even though it was unpleasant, when it mixed with the sweetness, it
Yeah.
actually became a neutral smell.
That's hilarious because one time I did a donut trick as well.
You did?
There was only one woman behind me.
Uh-huh.
So she like smelled something, so what I did is I just threw the donut in her face and
Oh.
it totally worked.